Hey there, Wendy here with Jazzydoodledesigns, and today we're going to finish the Symphony of Cute Animals Halloween party picture. So, because I voice over, I don't have where we left off. I just have the full picture. So if you are just starting with me, I will put links in the description box for both part 1 and part 2. That way you can find them all together. And let's finish this page up, shall we? Welcome back, everybody, to our final part. I am hoping that you're having a fantastic time coloring this page. It certainly was a lot of fun and a little daunting, but we made it. So, continuing on, we have hay, and I'm just laying down kind of a base layer for this, what's it called? Maybe a portico? Is that what it's called? I don't know, but this little archway. And I'm going to be doing it in kind of the darker wood tones like the banister. So you're going to see similar colors here. So while I do that, because I think it's pretty self-explanatory, how's everybody doing? It warmed up here in Colorado, yay, because this last weekend, so as I'm recording, it is now Thursday, and over the weekend, it was cold, like high of 29 or something ridiculous, and it snowed. And now all the snow is melted, and the sun was out today, and it was in the 50s. So this is what life is like if you live in Colorado. It varies a lot. The running joke of you can have all 4 seasons in one day, that's certainly true. I have literally had, from one weekend to the next, went out in shorts and a t-shirt and gotten sunburned, and the following weekend we could have snow. So, some some people like that variance. Other people, prefer to have, like, when I lived in Arizona, it was pretty similar weather most of the time. So I don't know what you think about that. I kind of like the change. I'm not really ready for winter though yet. It doesn't feel like winter. Fall is my favorite time of year. I just prefer the weather. I like the cool mornings and evenings with the warmer afternoons. I like the changing of the colors, the trees. I like Halloween. I like Thanksgiving. I mean, I don't know. I really like fall. And so I'm always kind of sad when it moves into winter. Plus, I'm not a big fan of driving in the snow. I grew up in Wyoming. I've lived in Colorado 20, almost 24 years, and actually it is 24 years, and so it's not a, like, I don't know how to drive in the snow. It's just I prefer to not. If that makes sense. So this upcoming weekend is when we set our clocks back. I'm also not a big fan of this. Yeah, it's great to get an extra hour of sleep, maybe. My problem is I absolutely hate when it is dark at 5 o'clock at night. I'm just not ready for that. I like when it stays light until, I'm ready for bed. So I like the summertime for that. But when we set the clocks back, it gets lighter in the morning, so you can wake up to daylight, which is fine. But man, it just sucks when it's 5 o'clock at night, it's dark out, and you're just like, I don't know, you can't do anything outside at the end of your day because, it's nighttime. Just not a fan. Tell me what you guys think. Are you a fan of daylight savings time? I know there's been a big petition and kind of a push to do away with it. And I'm not sure where that all stands. Supposedly there's like some petition where all the states have signed up for it, and I'm not sure what's holding up the show, so to speak. But I don't know. For me, it's just not my thing. Of course, I lived in Arizona for a number of years too, and they don't change. So I'm not sure why other states can't choose not to change. I don't know if that was like you had to sign up at the beginning. That would seem kind of funny. But anyway, our little wood is coming along. I meant to do like a little knot in the wood, and then I forgot when I was doing it. So I think that would have been kind of cool to have just, a little knot to add interest, like a wood knot. So feel free to do that on yours. Since I forgot it, I'm really sorry that these tags are just barely in the screen. To me, they're really close to me, so I'm thinking as I'm coloring that I'm doing good, right? It's right by my pencil, so I'm thinking I'm all proud of myself, and then I watch back the video and I'm like, Wendy. So, apologies, folks. Feel free to slap me. But like I said, it's hard when you get in the zone. But in my mind, I thought I was doing really good because it really was close to where I was coloring. It's just I have much more of the page showing on the right. But if you want to, I know that I film the right hand side exactly the same way with the same colors and everything, and I do show the entire process here, and I'm better about keeping everything in camera as far as the numbers or whatever. Now I did speed this up quite a bit because you literally just watched me do one, so I kind of felt like, do you really need to see me do it exactly the same way? There's really nothing different about this one. I understand that sometimes when you're coloring flowers, they have different creases, and it can be frustrating when you don't show the whole process. But in this case, they're identical. I mean, maybe where the flags intersect might be a little different, but other than that, everything's exactly the same way. So I did speed it up a little bit more. And of course, you can adjust that in your settings, in your playback settings, to slow it down if you need to. But basically, it's the same colors. So this is my third voiceover in 3 days because I'm trying really hard. I want to get these out to you guys. The first one launches Friday, and then part 2 will come out on Saturday, and then this one will go out on Sunday. So I've been doing them back to back, and quite honestly, I feel really stuck as to what to talk about. I know what I'll tell you. So I did go, I had to run and check my P.O. box. And it's over in a little strip mall, and just a couple of doors down is Michael's. And I'm always like, Wendy, you don't need anything at Michael's, right? But I was like, but it's right there. Do y'all ever do that? Like, you don't need anything, but you go anyway because, it's an arts and crafts store, so how can you say no? And I am pretty excited because they had a few coloring books. I have them off here to the side. Let me take a look. So I got my first Lulu Mayo book. I'm excited about that. It's a million cute animals. And some of these images are super cute. I had never seen this one before, and I've never heard of the author. It's called Yoga Animals So Cute. And guys, it is stinking cute. And I don't do yoga. It's normally not necessarily my thing, but I had to have it. I got a vintage fairies coloring book. And this is one that's kind of like the Disney book, where there's a page on the left that's colored, and then you can color the page on the side. I got the Best of Pop Manga by Camilla Derrico, and this is my first book by her, and there are some really cool images in here. There is one that has a third eyeball that I'm not that crazy about. There's something creepy about extra eyeballs on things. I see that a lot in like horror books and stuff, and I don't know why it makes me squirmy. And then I got the Mythographic Avery book. So yeah, guys, I went a little bit crazy because normally I go in there and there just really isn't anything that I want. But this is a really beautiful mythographic book, so I'm excited to. It's a Joseph Cannonbang. So I'm going to do a few flip throughs, and of course you'll see it. I should have a haul video coming out sometime next week. It's that time of the month. That sounds awful. It's that time of during the month. How about that? It's that time during the month where I do my haul video and I do my finished picture video, and so I will have that out as well. I will say this month was spent a lot doing this color along, which really consumed a lot of time, just being a 2-page spread, and just, I don't know, I guess it took me longer to figure out what I was going to do. So I don't have a lot of finished pages this month, and I was just busy. My mom had a lot of things going on. What else? Oh, I set up the Instagram, so of course there was learning how do you post an Instagram? How do you, like I had never been on the platform really. I mean, I had an Instagram. I've had a personal account, not one post on it. So it was something that I never really interacted with, but a few people friended me on it, and so like people I knew, so I would get to see their kids' pictures and stuff. But it really wasn't anything that I wasn't doing stories, I wasn't interacting, I wasn't liking anything. So that's been, a little bit of a learning curve. So I've kind of spent a lot of my time doing that kind of stuff. I also, with the 1,000 subscribers, got monetized. So all of that had to be set up, and just trying to figure out, what I want to do, how I want to go forward with the channel, and what it is, taking you guys' suggestions in mind. which direction do I want to head in, and what do you guys want to see more of. So I've just been spending a lot of time kind of behind the scenes. So, but I will do a final flip through, and I've had a couple of requests for like maybe a color book collection video, or oh, I know what else. I have an organization video coming out for you guys coming soon. I bought something that has been really, for me, kind of a game changer as far as my setup here, and I'll be sharing that with you soon, so look for that. So even when you don't see a lot of videos from me or colored pages from me, I'm definitely working on keeping things the same. So while I was blathering, I'm coloring these suckers, and I don't know if you noticed, but I start with brown, and then I add the pink, and then I go over it again with the darker pink, and it creates a red color. I wanted something different. I didn't want the suckers to be the same color as his little outfit, the cat's outfit. But I didn't really want to introduce yet another color. So this is how I chose to handle that. And I did the same thing on the fox's outfit. So I colored it in, I think, that Thai curry color, and got that down, and then went over it with the pink, and then went over it with the red violet, or this cyclamen color. And I feel like this color really works. I think it's kind of fun. You know, looking at the picture now, what would be really cute on those little suckers is to maybe add a little bit of glossy accents to make them look shiny, because you know how hard candy is kind of shiny. I think glossy accents would be kind of fun there. And of course, when I'm done, I'm going to have all the white highlights and different things. But as far as this candy over here, I felt like some of these elements on the table, it is Halloween, and I wanted them to be a little more traditional Halloween colors. So I thought about doing something, you know, like the red color, like an actual red color here. I toyed around with the idea of like multicolor, kind of like not like the wings, but like each one of those, like they were kind of like gumballs that are different colors. And in the end, I just felt like I like the idea of just keeping them orange for Halloween. What do you guys think? What color are you going to color them? I'd be curious to know. Because I'm not even sure what they are. I don't know if these little bat stick things, I don't know if those are just decoration because the fox has one in his hand, or if they're supposed to be like those are like cookies, or if they're somehow attached and maybe the fox has eaten his, I don't know. We're back to our little pug guy in his bandages. So I'm adding this little khaki, this vintage khaki color, and I'm going just along the edges, because overall we want him to have white bandages, but we want to have a little depth here and a little interest. So we're going to go all along like the creases, and just kind of going about a third of the way in, because I'm going to blend this all out. But for now, I just go about a third of the way in and just a little bit here where those lines are, right? Where the artist has said there might be a little darker area. Now I'm going to come in with a little bit of this. This is a really, really light yellow. And just barely touching. I just missed a little spot there, so ignore that. But just barely kissing the paper with this yellow. You can tell it's subtle. Like when you look at it, you see the warmth without really seeing yellow, right? Now here I'm going in and I'm going to do this outer part darker with the center lighter, much like I did the fireplace. So I'm just adding kind of my shading here, kind of like we did with the tablecloth, right? Just right where the shadows would be. I'm making it darker on the outside part, on the little lips or the ledge, you know, along the creases. Sharpen my pencil. It makes it a lot easier. I should get in a better habit of doing that because it does make a difference in your pictures, especially when you're doing detail work, but even in general. It seems counterproductive because it feels like if you have a duller pencil, like it would, you have more contact with the paper. But the thing is you've got the tooth of the paper, like the ridge and the valley, that's what they call the tooth of the paper. A sharper pencil will actually get down in the little valleys, and so it will actually fill the paper a little better. The only time I really like a dull pencil is sometimes when I use Inktense, because I don't want to overlay or put too much down, I should say. Sorry, I'm a little off camera here, but it's basically the same thing all the way up. And the other time is if I just barely want to kiss a kiss of color, just a tiny bit, right? Because if you have a sharp pencil, you're going to lay down quite a bit. So but basically I'm doing the exact same thing here at the top as I did down at the bottom. And it's pretty similar to what I did on the banisters or on the fireplace. Same kind of colors. This one I did go a little darker. I even thought about even going darker than that. In the end though, I chose not to. I don't know how it would look. Part of me was tempted just to see if I liked it better because it would frame in the picture better as opposed to here it kind of blends with the rest of the picture. But I did go a little darker, so hopefully, you know, hopefully I served my own purpose. But here I'm going over everything that I colored with that chicory coffee, but I'm going over it with the sepia. I am not going to go over all the white area with the sepia. I'm just pulling out that darker area and just leaving a little bit for our next color because we're going to go in with, what is it, the Thai curry, I think. And that'll add the warmth to the page. You know, that golden color that the rest of the wood has. I will say that these pencils, you can see how short that pencil got. And this is really the only coloring that I've done with it. So I don't know. There's a part of me that feels like maybe my batch broke. And maybe I mentioned this in one of the other color alongs, but I don't know if maybe they broke or if they're just a little bit prone to breakage, because I had quite a few where I went to color with the pencil and the lead kind of like broke out or fell out. And I apologize for once again not being on camera there, but you're not really missing anything. It's pretty much the same, just kind of going over everything. Now, here I am going over the entire thing. So, filling in all of the uncolored spaces as well as going over the chicory and sepia, just to kind of blend it all together and to give it that a little bit of warmth, right? Now, I don't know if I do or not add the bone brown, but that'll definitely give it more of that really warm yellow tone like the banister has. I can't remember if I do or I don't. Part of me thinks that I don't, because I wanted these to be a little darker. I don't know if I did myself any favors by telling you guys what books I got. I just had to share with you. So you get a little sneaky peeky of my coloring book haul this month. But anyway, I just had to share because I was so excited. Let me know if you want flip throughs of any of those. I probably will do I probably won't do one of the Lulu Mayo because I feel like I'm probably the only one that hasn't seen that. But I may do one for the yoga and the fairies because I've never seen those books before. And possibly the aviary, because that book is somewhat new. And it's funny because I remember when it came out. It just came out a few months ago, didn't it? What's it say? It doesn't say. That's interesting. I don't see where it says. At least not on the book. Oh, here it is. Yeah, 2023. So it came out this year for sure. But I remember when it came out, I was thinking, oh, I bet I would like that. Because there's something really cool about coloring birds. And I kind of like sometimes I like Kirby's book, the Alien book. I didn't think I was really going to like it because, I don't know, it was like aliens, And I tend to like cute things. I'm definitely not into the horror and the gore. I know a lot of people are, but it's just, I don't know, it's not something that it's not like I'm repelled by it. When I see other people do it, I can appreciate the artistry and I can appreciate the coloring that goes into it. It's just not something that I'm like, oh, I want to color brains today or five eyes or whatever. But the Alien book, I'm finding, while I've only colored one picture in it, I really like the idea that you can kind of color it whatever color you want. Like, you don't have to sometimes when I color like the animals and the cute animal thing, and I'll show my husband, and he'll be like, foxes don't have that color tail, or I don't know, just giving you an example because he is very knowledgeable about animals, and so when I color him wrong, he calls me out on it. I think it was the Kanoko a goose. There was two birds in a nest, and he was like, they don't have that color of chest, and I'm like, this is an adult coloring book. Like, who cares? And he's like, well, I'm just saying. And I'm like, well, you can just go away. and he's not. I don't want you to misunderstand. He's not like he's not being a dick. He's really not. He just likes to give me a hard time, and does so a lot. And he calls it affection. And I've told him many times that he and I have different definitions of affection, but he's also correct. I remember one time I had watercolored. I was into watercoloring, and so I drew a pine cone and colored it, and it was on a tree branch, I think. And I think I even showed it in my first finished pictures. I showed some of my Copic coloring and some of my watercoloring, and he noted immediately that I had colored it upside down. I had I think the fat part goes up against the tree branch, and then it kind of, it's kind of like a cone, and it tapers down. And he he was like, you have this growing opposite out of the tree. So I immediately, of course, looked it up on the Googles, and yeah, he was right, of course. But this is why I don't draw. I just color. But I was all proud of it because I thought it was a really good pine cone, and I thought I had done a good job. But yeah, I had totally just drawn it upside down. So, you know, and I guess for me, that's where I need to work on restricting myself less, because this is adult coloring, and who cares if I color the bluebird green or red, or my husband will know and he'll mock me. But I can survive that. We've been married 23 years. If I can survive that, I'm sure I can survive a little ribbing about my color choices. But I do look up references. So like on these little critters, I did look up some references. But like the bunny, I didn't. I just picked colors from what we had used before. So here on the little fox, I am just putting this hay in like the creases because I want this shirt to be white. And so I just put a little bit in the creases, and then I'm going to use a white colored pencil to go over. See how that broke right there? That's what I was talking about. And it happened to a lot of the pencils. So I don't know. Maybe Amazon got a little jiggity with it when they were delivering, or maybe it had a bad boat to China, but or from China, I should say. But yeah, it was a little. So this is just how I did the suckers, since I was talking and blathering while I was doing that color thing with the suckers. So I'm going over this with pink, and I considered leaving it pink. but to the point that I actually photocopied the page when it was white, right? Just on copy paper, and just this little section, and I colored it in the final color that the 3 layers of color, and then I cut it out. I fussy cut it out, so it was I could lay it on there and see it with that color, and then I looked at it with this color because I couldn't make up my mind. And I was once you add the brown, you can't unadd the brown. There was kind of no going back from that. So, that is something that I did. I don't, on most of my pictures, I don't do that, but most of my pictures aren't 2-page spreads with a dozen different objects. They're usually like a tropical, anything goes type of thing where it's a lot of water and shells and different things like that. Here I'm just coloring that foot, but you guys can skip over that part because you were good and colored the whole fox at the same time because I reminded you. But you see here, I had it pink for a fair amount of time, and then I think I do the wall and everything else, and then I go back in. But don't be afraid to do something like that if you're undecided. It is one way to kind of cheat, but I think I speed this part up as well because this is kind of the same thing. So yeah, we're just going to color this exactly the same way. So I'm going to catch up with you when we're finished with this. Okay, so I'm back. Let's get this little leaf drawn or colored. I thought about coloring this just in the dark sepia, and then I chose to color it like a fall leaf. So I'm just adding some random fall leaf colors: sepia, chicory, raw sienna, whatnot. Adding a little bit of yellow there. You could add a little green. I didn't. This part too is sped up just a little bit more than the rest. The reason being is because I'm literally coloring stripes. There's very little shading involved. I am just all of the little banner flags that have the straight line stripes are in this macaw green, and then I will go in with the darker green, but this is very simple coloring, so I didn't feel like we needed to watch it in real time, so to speak. Now I will save you a step. See how like the banner folds over at the top? Go ahead and color that right now. I don't know why I didn't make that connection when I was coloring, but I didn't. So I get done doing the entire thing, and then I got to go back and do that little segment. So that's also sped up just a little bit for you guys, but save yourself a step. Do it now. I just color it in whatever the primary color is. So in this case, it would be the green. Would be up at the top, and you can choose whether you want it lighter or darker or a combination, but just a heads up on that. I always try and save you guys. You guys can benefit from my struggles, so to speak. And once again, with these banners, I chose to do them in the colors of, all the colors that I've used in the page. You could do these all like orange and black, or orange, black, and white, or, whatever color you want, really. This is how I chose to do them. Sorry, that one's a little off camera, but once again, I'm just coloring pink stripes. But I wanted to be zoomed in enough that you guys could actually see where the pencil is, and I did that with the camera instead of during editing, so I can't change it. So I am going to put one more song on, and then I'll be back with you for the rest of the video. Okay, so here's where I made the decision that I was going to color that brownish red color, or make it brownish red. When I looked at the page, there was, in my opinion, too much pink for a Halloween page. That was ultimately what pushed me in this direction. I was okay with the red pink being there. I just felt like with it being throughout the entire page, up in the banners, I just felt like it was a little too much. Personal preference. Which I guess that's the great thing about the coloring, right? Is that you get a pick. So I guess, something that we can take away from this is that when now this is a color we haven't used before, but I wanted it a little darker, so I just found essentially the color that I was trying to create. But when you don't want to introduce yet another color, you can combine colors to create that color, and it will go because it has the same elements in it. So once again, bringing in just one more little same colors. I wanted that reddish tone here. Sorry, I grabbed the wrong pencil. Pay attention. But I wanted to draw a little bit more of that color into the picture. And because this is Halloween, I felt like these little cups should be orange. Now, I toyed around once again, just trying to show you guys how my brain works and how I choose my colors. I chose this color because I wanted it to be ultimately a Halloween page. But my initial thoughts when I first looked at the page were maybe they were going to be different colors. You know how when you can get the party packs and there's a red cup and a blue cup and a purple cup, and I could have done that. I just felt like I don't want, just like the decision I made with those little orange candies over there, sometimes less is more. When you get too many colors, you lose the cohesion, right? And you lose your focal point. So that when you look at this table, you see orange and brown and green and black, and that's it. I mean, you got your purple tablecloth, and the red's there, but the red isn't a poppin' red. It's not like I went with cherry apple red or candy apple red. Let's make up some words. I wanted it to read Halloween decor. So that's why I chose those colors. Now, that's not to say that if you choose to color all of yours different colors, that there's something wrong with that, because there's not. It's just, I always try and walk you through my thought processes, and then, of course, you can do with that what you will and take away what works for you and what doesn't, because we can all look at somebody's art. I've looked at many people's artwork and thought, oh, that's beautiful. It's not my style. It's not something that I would do, but I can appreciate it, right? Kind of like when I was talking about like Mythagoria and the beauty, the horror coloring books. I've thought when I first started the channel, I saw how popular they were, and I thought, oh, I should be doing a color along, or I should do flip throughs with that. And I just have to be true to who and what I am. Not to say I'll never do one, because there's random pages, like I think I showed you, what is that one with the orcs? The Lord of the Rings book that I did, that I showed you that I got on my September haul. That has some trolls and stuff like that. I actually enjoy coloring that kind of stuff. What I don't enjoy is, like, skulls with eyeballs popping out of their head and that kind of stuff. But so if you like signed up on my channel hoping to see some of that, you probably won't. Not to say never, because squirrel. But at the same time, you're gonna find a lot more cute images like this one, Benny Blue, and those kind of things, and tropical scenes, birds, wildlife, that kind of stuff I really like too. So, take everything that you learn from every artist and take what works for you and keep it. And all the other stuff, throw it away. So here I told you when I first colored the walls, I wanted to put a little color on the wall. But I knew that they were going to be dark. I didn't know how dark I wanted them to be. I gotta tell you, I was a little disappointed in, especially, you'll see it up at the top, and maybe it's because I should have flipped my page and just made you all suffer with the disorientation of that. I really hate doing that in color alongs, because I always hate when artists, like, they're moving stuff around and their table's wobbling, and it just really detracts for me. So I try not to do that, and I try, I don't know, but I felt like these didn't blend as well as I wanted them to. And maybe this is 100% operator error, because there is a big jump here in value between hay and sepia, right? So maybe I should have stepped up. The problem is these pencils really don't have a step in between these two colors in the same color family. So you saw me stepping up with the wood, like on the fireplace and stuff, but I was also bringing in a lot more yellows. I do not want any more yellow in my wall. I just want it beige. I just wanted a darker beige. And I just, overall, I didn't get the look that I wanted. Here, I wanted it darker. You can see I only went halfway up the wall because I wanted it to, the down here at the bottom, I wanted it to read a little darker. I wish there would be another color between that hay and sepia in this color family to help me transition this blend. I tried to go very, very light with the pencil to get that, and I was hoping that when I went in with the blender pencil that it would blend into each other. And I used the same blender that I love, that Caran d'Ache, I think it's called a brightener, but I really like that one. I was not very impressed by how it ended up. So I'll take ownership for it, because I think it was probably me but I really thought I would get a little better blend right here in this area above this mirror, this part right here. See how, like, look at those really dark lines. I don't feel like I did anything different. So I don't know if there was like maybe a little glitch in the paper, but it happens on this side too. And so I don't know if it's because I didn't flip the page or if maybe I got something on it, but out of the whole wall, it was only up at this upper part that happened. But it looks terrible. So don't do what I did. Flip it over, pull your hand back a little bit more on the pencil, do more layers. I don't know. Here I just decided I left these, I purposely left the jewels out because I wasn't sure what color I wanted them to be. And I hadn't quite made up my mind. And here I decided to sharpen the pencil because those are tiny. So I don't know. But I'm a little bummed by it. And to be fair, at this point I have a lot of hours into coloring this page. I'm just adding a little bit of pink. I add a little pink and a little blue violet just to add some visual interest. You can see how far back on the pencil I am because I want it to be very, very light. I don't want like blobs of color. I just want little like hints of color. And I don't know. I think it worked a little better in my head. Once again, just adding a little bit of yellow, just hints, right? But here I'm trying to blend it out with that hay. Just trying to smooth things over a little bit. I don't know if I made it worse, if it made it better, but I was really disappointed in the wall. And like I said, in all fairness, I had worked on this a really long time, so maybe I was just kind of over it. I don't know. But I don't think so, because I feel like the rest of the page didn't turn out like that. And I don't feel like I really did anything super different. But word to the wise, I am rushing it a little bit more. I should be doing a little. This is sped up quite a bit because, I'm coloring a wall. I try and save you guys, spare you from having to watch me color the wall. But, so it does look like I'm, reckless because it is, I think it's 6 times speed here. So I am coloring quite a bit slower, but I could be coloring even slower with tighter circles. So cautionary tale. So one thing I will say is, and I do this off camera, I do use the Caran d'Ache blender pencil, the brightener stick, and I go over the entire, no, I shouldn't say entire, I go over most of the picture with it. However, I don't go over any of the animals, I don't go over the mirror, I don't go over, I guess that's, I don't I don't go over the donuts and the cake, but I do go over, you know, the clothing, the tablecloth, the wall, the wood, and even the tile. And I debated a long time about going over the tile. Now here I'm using Nouveau, and the color is Glitter Gloss, and basically it's just clear with a little bit of glitter, so you can kind of see it reflecting there. I thought about doing stickles up there. I felt like it would be too much. This just adds that little shimmer. Now you could use Wink Stella. It's essentially the same thing. It's just a different brand. But this is what I had in front of me. So I grabbed it because I have a Wink Stella too. But quite honestly, this one found its way into my hand faster than Wink Stella. Now these you squeeze a little bit to get them started, which is what I do off camera there. Sometimes you got to shake them again and get them going again to get a good coverage. And then I'm just kind of canting the page towards me so that I can see, did I get everything? See how I turn it like that and just, oh yeah, I missed a spot there. Now here I'm using white Posca pens just to go over the white in these. I don't know what happened there. Something happened in the window, maybe some lighting. But basically I'm kind of going over the white lines a little bit. Here I'm using a black Posca pen. So I'm using a black Posca pen to go over their eyes. And I go ahead and fill in the white sometimes. Not always, but sometimes I do. And then I can go in later and put the white back in. Here I'm using that Nouveau on the wings. I feel like it just adds a little shimmer because, you know, fairy wings should be kind of shimmery. Back to the white Posca pen for the candles. Up on the little jewels, just a little tiny dot of color just to make them scream that they're shining. I decided to go all around the little candle to get rid of the black around the candle. This is just, of course, your choice if you like that look or not. I kind of like it with certain things. You got to be careful doing this because then you notice it on other elements that you don't do it with. But I feel like with the candle it makes sense. So I kind of smeared his eye, so I go in with the black. And then, Wendy, you're an idiot. You gotta wait for the black to dry before you put the white back on it, which I didn't. So then I got black on my pen. I had to wipe it off. So once again, cautionary tale, don't do that. But we're coming together. Here I'm using just that bright yellow to kind of go over your Posca pen. Now you have to be gentle I decided that yellow wasn't working. I needed a darker yellow. So that's why I switched. You have to be a little gentle when you go over the Posca. If you don't, you will scratch it off. So try not to use like a super sharp point. Have your pencil be a little duller. And just go in lightly and make more layers over it. But I feel like that really helped. I just brighten up a little bit of the highlights on the donuts. So once I put the highlights in here, I'm not going to go over these things with the blender pen. You want to do this step after the blender pen, so I wouldn't want to put any white highlights like on the tablecloth if I'm then going to use a blender pen, if that makes sense. Here's where I decide to do the polka dots. I thought I did. I considered doing polka dots in the darker purple color as well. But in the end I chose white, and I'm kind of glad I did because it's a little more subtle. Just whitening up the little pom-poms. Now this is Stickles, and it's called Crystal Ice Stickles. And I'm just kind of dabbing it on there, and I'm doing it on both the pom-poms on the top of the one cat and then the bunny. Now I am doing this in real time because I want you to see what I'm doing. I feel like with pencil strokes we can speed it up and everybody can choose to adjust the speed accordingly. But with this, I really wanted to show you in real time what I'm doing. Just kind of dabbing it on. And just trying to show you there the sparkle. Now, I thought about going around her wings like in a silver or in a gold. And I felt like it would just be, I don't know, just too much. And so in the end, I just chose to do this, just to put the stickles all the way around her little wings and in the veins. And I really like how this turned out. I think it's really pretty in real life. This is probably my favorite of the stickles. A lot of stickles, the clear ones, have certain shades of the glitter, so they can read a little green or a little yellow, gold or whatever. This one I don't know. I just really like this one. What do you guys think? I think I like it because it almost reads white, but in real life it has little glimmers of color. Now here I kind of step back and I decide I want a little bit of stickles, but I only want it kind of where the web meets, just so it kind of catches your eye a little bit, but doesn't see how the wings kind of pop out at you right now? Whereas I like that when I'm looking at that web, it's just a little hint here and there. So that's kind of what I do for both sides here. And there I just stuck my hand right in the wings. Today's been a total cautionary tale of what not to do. You guys are going to watch my color along so that you can know what not to do. Overall, I really like how this page turned out, and I do feel like these final little touches are really what can make or break a page. So I appreciate you hanging out with me on this color along. Please note at this point I have used the blender pencil. You can see how much smoother the tablecloth and the sky are. So as I tilt it around so that you can see all the shimmer and glimmer, I appreciate you from the bottom of my heart, and I will see you on the next one. Thank you for watching another video from Jazzydoodledesigns. If you enjoy adult coloring content, please consider subscribing. You can now find me on Instagram and Facebook as well. I welcome all comments and suggestions. Don't forget to like the video before you go. And until next time, take care.